Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Ale. Welcome back to my world of stocks, and welcome back to my favorite series on the channel. It's my monthly update series where I let you guys know what stocks I bought or sold last month and what I'm thinking about buying or selling this month. And of course, this month here is December. Now, you guys might have noticed that we actually skipped November, and the reason why is because I had some work related issues outside of YouTube that I had to take care of, and I just wasn't able to get that video done in time. But normally, that November video would have covered what stocks I bought or sold in October and what I was thinking about doing in November. So we kind of missed 2 months there. Here in December, all the stocks that I'm thinking about buying this month are actually stocks that I made moves on in October or November as well. So I'm just going to kind of lump everything in today's video. I'll very quickly let you know if I made any moves in October or November with any of these stocks, and then I'll let you know also what I plan to do here in December in terms of buying, because there are actually 8 different stocks that I've been buying and that I basically plan to continue buying. And one of those stocks, by the way, is a brand new addition to my portfolio. So there's a lot of stocks to go through here. Now, I do personally feel that the stock market is still a bit too expensive in relation to the economy. I do think that the economy is in pretty bad shape. However, I've been seeing a lot of buying opportunities, in my opinion. I think a lot of stocks have crashed a lot and have been falling for a while, and I've been buying a ton of stocks. And I mean, we're going to cover 8 stocks that I've been buying just here in these past couple months, and that I still am continuing to buy. And I think some of these are great buying opportunities, in my opinion, and so I've been making moves. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about in today's video. Quickly do like a rapid fire, just running through all of them, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you hit the like button if you do, because it really helps the channel and it means a lot to me. But let's go ahead and jump straight into this list. Okay, now before we jump into the buying though, let me just quickly get the selling out of the way, because you guys know that I rarely ever sell anything. But this time I did actually do some very rare trimming of my Tesla position. Now, this was just to adjust my portfolio a little, which I do from time to time when a particular stock is off balance in my portfolio. And in this case, Tesla was getting a little bit too large, and it had surpassed Microsoft as my number one largest stock, which is normally a position, you guys know this, that I like to reserve for Microsoft specifically. So I did go ahead and just trim just a tiny amount of Tesla just to get it back down to the number 2 spot in my portfolio. And I took those profits from my smaller E-Trade position, where I had a cost basis in the $300 range per share, and I sold those shares at over $1,000 each at around the end of October. So that was around a 200% profit on those shares, and the stock is still trading around those same levels today. By the way, I'm still as bullish as ever long term on Tesla. It is my second largest stock, only behind Microsoft, and the vast majority of my shares are in my Robinhood account, where I am currently up by over 2,000%. So I'm up a huge amount on my Tesla position. I'm still holding on to those long term. Okay, moving on though to purchases. This is where it really starts to get fun and exciting. But in no particular order here, first up, we got Teladoc Health, ticker symbol TDOC, which is a stock that I've been buying a lot of lately throughout mostly the second half of this year, after they crashed heavily and are still down about 70% from their highs. Now, the stock currently trades in the 90s, but I bought most of my recent shares a bit higher than that at over $120 in October and still above 100 in November, with my overall position still down by close to 20%. However, because it's such a tiny position of mine, literally just 0.3% of my Robinhood account, which isn't even my entire portfolio, I plan to now double and even triple my position, since it'll still be less than like 1% of just my Robinhood account, and that will dramatically lower my cost basis. So I'm going to double or even triple down on this position here at these prices. Now, Teladoc is a company that I do believe in long term, just because they're the world leader in telemedicine, like virtual doctor visits and so on. And I just think that's really where the medical industry is heading in the future. As over 80% of consumers say that telehealth is equal to or even better than in person, according to a recent Piper Sandler survey. Now, I personally think that Teladoc is getting dragged down because of a recent pullback in growth stocks given the weak economy, but I think it's way overdone with Teladoc, as they are actually performing very well right now with 32% organic revenue growth last quarter, meaning that's not even including their really smart acquisition of Livongo, which when you do include that acquisition, their growth actually skyrockets to over 80%, and even their adjusted profit also soared by over 90%, meaning that they're doing a great job of scaling up that business too. So a solid company with a solid long-term opportunity and a falling stock price, those are the things that I love to see in my newer purchases, and I plan to buy a lot more here in December. Okay, moving on. Next up, we have the Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba, ticker symbol BABA, who has been crashing very hard over the past year. In fact, they're down over 50% during that time, which is really crazy to think about because you'd assume that the global health issue and all the lockdowns would only send the online shopping giant to new record highs right along with like Amazon and so on. But because of Chinese regulations and fines, investors have been scared into abandoning the stock. With a fresh round of fines, by the way, coming just this past month against tech giants like Alibaba, Tencent, and Baidu. So China's really cracking down on some of these tech giants. And really, the worsening global economy isn't helping either with disappointing earnings and so on. Still, I just think Alibaba is worth the long-term bet at these prices. You're talking about a stock with sales of almost $140 billion a year, and it is still growing at over 20% a year, and yet it only trades for a forward P ratio of just around 15. Contrast that with Amazon, who trades at almost 55. There will always be great risk with any Chinese stock, no doubt about that, but with a user base of over 1.2 billion active customers, along with their massive size and growth, I'm willing to keep buying this stock in small amounts as it falls, and that's what I did in October, although I did skip November, but I am buying once again here in December. All right, next up, we've got Zynga, ticker symbol ZNGA, and this is the mobile gaming company that I've been buying over the past few months, well known for games like Words with Friends, Zynga Poker, and the upcoming Star Wars game Hunters. Reason for owning it is that the vast majority of growth in the gaming market is coming from mobile games, which as its own market alone is expected to double over the next 6 years to over $150 billion. For context, Zynga only did less than $2 billion last year, so as one of the biggest market leaders, they stand to benefit in a large way from all of this growth, and that's exactly what we've been seeing. Sales have grown by over 40% in each of the last 2 years and are still expected to climb by another 40% this year as well. But because of profitability issues along with higher analyst expectations in recent quarters and the inevitability that gaming growth will slow down next year if the global health issue gets more under control and people spend more time outside rather than, inside playing games on their phones and so on, well, the result has been that the stock has crashed by over 50% from its highs, leading to what I feel is a fantastic buying opportunity for the long term. I bought some more shares in October, quite a bit higher in the $7 range, and then just a little higher in November in the $6 range. But yeah, you can bet 100% that I'll be buying more here in December at even lower levels than that. All right, moving on, I also bought some more shares of the dividend-paying wireless communication giant Verizon, ticker symbol VZ, who seems to consistently trade within this $50 range here, as you can see on this chart. And as you can see over the past few years, the bottom of that range is right around where it trades today. So this is really starting to look like a good price, just even from just like a technical analysis standpoint. But looking deeper into that, the real thing that attracts me to Verizon is their dividend, which thanks to the falling stock price, the low price, that dividend has now climbed to a super attractive 5% yield. I mean, you're talking a 5% dividend for a stock that is trading at the lowest part of its range, that is almost 50% cheaper than the sector, for a company that is one of the leaders in wireless and internet, who is usually ranked as the best service in terms of quality, having already broken the JD Power record for winning the best wireless network quality award 27 times in a row. And they're now even starting to win some awards for best internet quality as well. I mean, I know it's a boring, slow-moving dividend stock, but that's the only thing I really want from them anyway, is that dividend. So I went ahead and bought some more shares in October, a little higher than where the stock is trading today, and I will definitely be buying more here throughout December at these cheaper prices and with that really nice dividend yield. All right, moving on. I also picked up some more shares of the world leader in home gardening soil and fertilizer known as Scott's Miracle Grow, ticker symbol SMG, which despite being a world leader in their market, this is a stock that has been getting absolutely destroyed over the past year, having now fallen by over 40% from its highs. And this is right around the price that I purchased my shares in October, right in that $140 range. Several reasons why I like Scott's, not just for the leadership in a market that I don't think is ever going away, but I also get a very safe dividend of about 2% with a really low payout ratio. I get a decent valuation at about the same as the sector despite that market leadership, and I also get future potential in the can market. I think you know what I'm referring to, the M and the J market, with their hydroponics Hawthorne division, which managed to grow by almost 40% this year, despite coming off of a record year in 2020 due to the pepperoni lockdowns. Still, SMG is not likely to grow much in the near future if things keep opening back up and stay open, which would mean less time for people to work on home improvements. So I probably won't be buying any more shares at this time, but it's definitely still a stock that I enjoy owning in my portfolio and collecting that little dividend on. All right, next up is a very controversial one in Robinhood, ticker symbol HOOD. And this stock has been all over the place because of Reddit trading and the rise of cryptocurrency trading, especially among younger investors that tend to prefer Robinhood for the easy to use platform along with the commission free trading. But that's led to a ton of volatility in the stock price, which originally IPO'd at $38 before skyrocketing to $85, followed by a strong crash all the way down to the low 20s where they trade today, which is a drop of almost 75%. That is a massive crash. However, I just think Robinhood has too much potential among young and growing investors and traders, and a 73% drop is good reason enough for me to buy the stock. It's still a tiny position of mine at only around 1% of my portfolio, and I bought at several price points, but in October it was mostly in the $30 range. And then again in November, I bought in the mid to high $20 range. So now here in December at the low 20s, I will definitely be buying more, and especially if it falls down into the teens. All right, next up, I had to pick up some more of what I often refer to as my favorite speculative stock in the entire market, and that is Palantir Technologies, ticker symbol PLTR, which, like Robinhood, is another highly controversial stock. And not just controversial because it's so heavily traded on Reddit, but also because they specialize in overwatching technologies like security and surveillance that are heavily used by the US government and military. In fact, at the start of this year, government contracts were making up over 60% of their revenue. But first of all, that heavy tie to the US government means that they have a reliable and stable source of very large revenue contracts. And second, their commercial segment is really starting to take off now and helping them diversify. In fact, it grew by almost 40% last quarter, which is up from 28%, 19%, and just 4% growth rates in each of the previous quarters. And this acceleration in growth is really starting to benefit the company in a big way, as they are now expecting more than 30% revenue growth on average through at least 2025. The stock tends to be very volatile for various reasons, but it is currently sitting near the very bottom of its 52-week range, and I just think this is a fantastic price to keep buying the stock. So I added more shares in November at just slightly above $20, and you can bet that I'll be buying more here in December in the teens as well. All right, that leaves us now with the final stock of the list, and this is actually the brand new addition to my portfolio. And if you guys have been watching my videos, then you should know that that stock is, of course, Meta, ticker symbol FB, who of course used to be known as Facebook. And if you want to learn more about Meta stock, I would highly recommend my recent video where I cover everything about it. But essentially, Facebook was an insanely dominant company with close to $100 billion in sales and a user base of over 3.5 billion people across their platforms. So it's inevitable that growth needs to slow down at some point, and that's why they decided to go all in on the future of social media in what they refer to as the metaverse, so much so that they decided to change their name to Meta and are now essentially trying to be the first to market with some type of massive virtual world. And this, in my opinion, is not only exactly what they needed to do, but it will lead to even more growth than they already have. and with some of the strongest financials in the world, a gigantic user base to tap into, and various technology, including social media platforms and VR tech from Oculus, I just think Facebook, or otherwise known as Meta, is in the best position to make this happen, more so than really any other company that I can think of, and that's really why I'm buying the stock. Now, it's been kind of all over the place in recent months since the announcement, and the stock currently sits around the midpoint of their 52-week range, but I bought my shares a bit higher than where they are today, so I will definitely be adding to my position here in December as well. Okay, so I think that basically does it here for December in terms of what I'm doing myself. Now, I do just want to let you guys know really quick that I am working on several other videos. I'm doing research on some dividend stocks, growth stocks, value stocks, all kinds of different things. And there may be some stocks that I look to purchase soon or may want to make moves on in addition to what I talked about in today's video. But for those, I haven't decided on anything yet. But if I happen to come across during my research, come across some stocks that I want to make moves on, then obviously I'll talk about it in those videos that are coming out soon. And I will also talk about it in the January update. So make sure that you guys are subscribed for all of that content that is coming up. And that does it for this month. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below what stocks are you guys making moves on. I may feature them in future videos. And hope you're all doing well. I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.